G'day everyone, if we haven't met before, my name is Sam. Thank you as always for turning on this video. If it is your first time here, thank you so much for practicing. We practice yoga here. We focus on quite a lot of different things, a lot of strength, a lot of mental health awareness, and working to use the practice of yoga, of breath work, of meditation to try and get, I guess, a little more control of how we're feeling, or a little more of an understanding of how we're feeling, so we can work to better understand ourselves and then use that understanding to better navigate the world. This practice in particular, we are working on strength, and we're working on building a strength and awareness through the core body. So I always get a little nervous before I film a core body focus practice, because I know it's going to be challenging, and that's a little bit scary. But the good news is we're here together, so thank you again so much for turning on this video. You will need 2 blocks for today's practice. When you're ready, we're going to get right into it. When you're ready, we're going to get started in Vajrasana, a kneeling position, so just sit your hips back on the heels. Now, if when you come back immediately it feels as though the muscles of the thighs are starting to roll in towards each other, use the thumbs just to spin the calf muscles out, and then as you sit back down it might feel as though the thigh muscles are running a little more parallel. As you take a moment just to find your breath here in this position, just take your awareness towards the belly. And imagine as you inhale that the navel was starting to move outward, the rib cage left and right side moving away from one another, and the chest lifting up a little bit higher. So we're moving in all 4 directions. Then as you exhale, feel a hugging in, like the navel was drawing in towards the spine, the left and right rib cage were drawing towards each other. You can even use the palms on the ribs to find that feeling as you exhale. Inhale, we open and broaden. The exhale is that contraction, that drawing in. So the exhale, that's going to help us today. It's going to help us contract the muscles of the midsection a little bit more to feel more of an activation when it comes towards our abdominal strengthening exercises. One last breath here. Now from this space, just blink the eyes open. Stay in your Vajrasana kneeling position if you can. Just let the arms rise over the head. Arms are nice and straight, but the shoulders are softening away from the ears. We've done this before, no point mucking around. We'll get straight into it. The inhale is going to open the fingers really, really wide, so expand as big as you can in the hands. As you exhale, squeeze the fists really tight. Do that again. Inhale, we open the hands really wide. Exhale, we squeeze those suckers together. Now, if you can, keep the breath the same speed, but speed up the movement in the hands. Inhale fully. Exhale draws the ribs and belly in. So just continue with that pattern, but feel the hands starting to speed up as you progress. And what's going to happen is you're probably going to either stop opening the hands really wide or stop closing the hands completely. Try to continue doing both of those things. This is really working to pre-fatigue the muscles of the forearms to allow the arms to be ready to bear a little bit of weight. We're going to be here for 10, for 9, still breathing fully, for 8, for 7, for 6, forearms are starting to fire up, for 5, for 4, oh my goodness, for 3, 2, and on 1. Take the arms down by the side, and oh goodness, every time I do that, it feels like somebody has just stuck a needle in me and started inflating the forearms. They're really starting to fire up. That way we know when we bear the hands down that the muscles are already warm, and this is going to help protect the wrists. Locate your blocks. I'm going to pop one on either side of the hips, and we're just going to pop them on the lower side. Have them so they're halfway between the hips and the knees. And the reason they're here, in a moment what we're going to do is rest our hands on the blocks. You can have the fingers hanging off the top edge. Biceps wrap forward. We're going to think about leaning forwards as we do the shoulder blades draw apart. And then from there, we're going to press into the tops of the feet to try and lift the knees off the mat. But when we do that, we want to feel the knees lift higher than the bottom, so there's more of a core body element rather than pushing into the feet and using the legs, if that makes sense. So if I was to demonstrate first, inhale, you lean forwards. Exhale. Rest on the top of the feet, knees lift higher than the bottom. So rather than pushing to lift the hips up really high, it's just a light lift of the bottom, and the knees are what is lifting up nice and high. So we're going to have 3 rounds of this. First round, both feet are going to press down, and then second and third, we're going to press one foot in either side and just see how that feels. So I have the fingers hanging off the top edge, wrap the biceps forward, make sure those shoulder blades are drawing apart. Inhale, we lean forwards. Exhale, feet press down, we lift the knees, and you can bring the forehead in towards the knees a little bit to feel more of a flexion through the spine. And try not to completely push the arms against the legs. Try to let the arms and legs be a little bit separate. We're here for 10, for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sit yourself down, roll out through the wrists, squeeze the shoulder blades back. Lift the chest. Nice work. So you can really feel those serratus anterior muscles, allowing the rib cage, or the shoulder blades I should say, to move around the rib cage to feel that core body activation. On the second round, we're going to press into the top of the left foot, but we're going to try and lift the right foot as well. So you squeeze the right heel in towards the bum and the right knee in towards the chest. And the more we think about it, the less psyched we're going to be about it. So we're just going to get straight into it. Fingers hang off the top edge, wrap biceps forward, inhale, lean forward. Exhale, right foot hovers. So squeeze the heel in towards the bum, keep leaning forward, bring the forehead in towards the knees. We're here for 10, for 9, for 8, squeeze that right knee into chest, 7, for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Wow. Hips back to heels. Roll out through the wrists. Allow the chest to rise, the shoulder blades to squeeze back. It always shocks me, I guess, when I come back to this movement and I realize, oh yeah, wow, that's still challenging. That's still hard. It hasn't gotten any easier. Good news is we get to do it again. Yes. Lucky us. This is great core body awareness, and this is preparation for an arm balance called Lolasana, which is just the most brutal of arm balances, I would say, and we get to play with it later on if you're willing. So this time it'll be the left foot that lifts. We'll press through the top of the right foot. So inhale, lean forward. Exhale, left foot lifts. Squeeze the heel in, leaning forwards. Press through the palms. 10, for 9, 8, for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Interlace the hands behind the back this time. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other. Crack the heart open and lift the chest. Take a couple of breaths. And very mindfully, release the hands. Pop the blocks towards the top of the mat. We're going to be using them a fair bit throughout the practice, so keep them close by. And then we're going to take ourselves up into downward facing dog, and then take an opportunity just to feel your way into the back of the legs. So we started the practice in a kneeling position. We've been there ever since. So the legs are probably really going to appreciate some movement here. Pushing through the palms, Feeling the hips rise up and back. Take a breath. Now as you rise up high on the toes, we're going to keep the palms flat as we walk forwards. Now if you wanted to feel a little extra strength through the arms as you lift the right foot to step, see if your right toes could tap the back of your right wrist and then step forwards. And pressing through the right foot, see if the left toes could tap the back of the left wrist as you step forward. So what you're doing here is just strengthening the arms and using the muscles of the legs, the hip flexors namely, to lift the feet, getting a little more strength along the way to the top. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, you fold heavy, energetically pushing the hands forward to allow yourself to fold a little heavier. Feeling the rib cage and the thighs get super close towards each other. That's going to be a recurring theme throughout the practice. If you want to give yourself a little length through the back of the neck, interlace the hands, rest them to the base of the neck. And maybe draw the chin in towards the chest a little bit more. Last breath here. Start to roll your way up through standing. Circle the arms out wide, let them rise over the head as we breathe in. And exhale, draw the hands through center. Let them rest down by the side. And take one breath here in Tadasana. And allow your arms to climb overhead as you inhale. And take the whole length of the exhale to fold heavy over the front of the thighs. Lift halfway as you breathe in. Maybe you rise onto the fingertips. And from here, we'll step the left leg back towards a lunge first. Try to keep the palms pressing flat. And then keep your right knee in towards the chest as best you can. Just squeeze the right heel in towards the bum. So you just like we did when we were using the blocks before, you're trying to draw the right heel into bum, the right knee in towards the chest as you push through the palms. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Step back to plank. Take the push up. And lower down onto the belly. As we pull through cobra pose, the feet press down as we lift the chest. Exhale the head drop. We tuck the toes. We press up and back to downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths. Last inhale. And again, as we rise high onto the toes, if you want to take that little elephant walk, each time a foot lifts, try and tap the back of that wrist with the toes, pressing the palms flat along the way, working to strengthen arms and legs as we make our way forwards. Tricky, that one. Halfway lift, breath in. Exhales the dive forward. Roll up through standing, reach the arms tall. Exhale draws the energy back through center as the arms settle down. Now shifting again, inhale is the climb. Exhale the dive. Embrace each movement. Halfway lift is your inhale, fill up with breath. Left foot stays, right leg steps back towards the lunge. Then we keep knee in towards the chest as we squeeze the left heel in towards the bum. Push with the hands, feel the chest moving forward. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to your plank. Take your push up, feel the chest, touch the floor before you rise back up. And as you come down towards cobra pose, really actively press the tops of the feet down. Feel the knees lift as you lift the chest. Take a full inhale. Let the exhale drop the head. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Nice. Left foot's going to shuffle a little closer to the right. We'll reach the right leg straight up and back as we breathe in. Try to keep the hips square. On the exhale, draw the right knee through to chest. As you roll forward, tap the back of the right arm above the elbow if you can. And then lower that knee down towards the wrist without touching the floor. Lift it back up towards the armpit, nice and high, and then step the right foot between the hands. Keep the back knee lifting, the back heel rising. Come on up, find a crescent lunge, sitting deep in that front right thigh, pressing the palms together and looking up towards the thumbs. Allowing the depth in that right thigh just to continue to descend, and the height in the left knee continuing to ascend. Take a full breath. Stay for the exhale. Circle hands down towards the mat. We're going to lean forward so our rib cage on the right side meets the right thigh. Fingertips find the earth. We'll lift the left leg up. If you want to, take your right hand or arm to the back of the right calf. Keep pressing the ball of the left foot up and back behind you, allowing your torso to get a little heavier here. Stabilizing through the right foot, the right ankle. Feeling a little more strength in that right leg, a little height in the left. Take a breath. Nice work. From here, start to bring the left knee in towards the chest. Lift up halfway, so come onto the fingertips. And as best you can, keep the left knee into chest. As you bend the right knee, extend the left leg out in front of you to sit down onto the bottom. Nice work. You're going to take hold of a block. We're going to lower down onto the back. Probably not going to enjoy this next part, as I know I'm not going to either. So you're going to hover the right leg. It's in a 90-degree angle to start with. You're going to take a block, rest it on top of your right thigh. Take your right elbow, press that into the block. So you're holding onto the block nice and tight. And then lift the head and chest, hover the left leg. Now this could be easy or it could be hard. It's completely up to you. If you push the elbow into the block, if you push the knee into the block really, really firm, you're going to start to shake, or you could choose just to rest there. It's completely up to you, but keep pressing if you want to feel more and lifting the chest. Now from here, we're going to lift and lower the left leg a total of 10 times. That's 1. For 2, keep pushing right side together. 3. For 4. For 5. For 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. So we lift and lower and gently grab hold of your block, hold it between both palms, just like this. Take the block to the outside of your right thigh, straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling. Now from here, we're going to crunch up in a moment. Imagine the left elbow is going to lift as high as the right knee. Take an inhale. Exhale, we crunch up. 10. For 9, keep the legs splitting away from each other. 8. For 7. 6. For 5. 4. For 3. 2. And 1. Release the block down towards the floor. Reach both arms out in front of you. I know we're still in it. Legs are still splitting. In a moment, we're going to pulse to lift the tailbone, but the legs will stay in this shape. So the movement's very subtle. It looks like this. We're going to do it 10 times. Let's go 10. For 9, keep the head and chest lifting. 8. For 7. 6. For 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. My goodness. Oh, I needed a moment just to be with myself there. I really hope that you felt that one, and I wasn't the only one. Bend up both knees if you can, just set the feet underneath the knees, and then allow your hips to rise off the mat, interlacing the hands behind you, allowing the hips to lift. Breathing into the belly to feel an expanse. And releasing the hands, starting to lower back down. Now, one thing that I think is really important is the ability to get off the floor without using the hands. So in a moment, we're going to reach the arms back behind us, and then the cue is going to be to take your knees to your armpits. So what that is not is this, right? To take knees to the armpits, you literally feel the bottom lift off the mat. You feel almost half the spine lift off the mat. And then you stay compressed, heels stay to butt, knees stay close to chest. You rock forwards, and maybe you find a little malasana shape here. You feel the chest lifting nice and high. Just feel the triceps. Rest on the knees, let the palms face up. Slow down the breath. Nice work. And if you've ran out of mat in front of you, shuffle the feet back and just climb onto the balls of the feet. So we did this in our first yoga for strength practice. So it's the idea of floating back to chaturanga, starting really small and low to the floor, ensures that the elbows are going to stay bent along the way and that we're not going to land in a plank. Instead, we are going to land in that bent arm variation. So if you ground the hands down here and hug the elbows in, we're going to use an exhale to lean the torso forwards, but also extend the legs back at the same time. That exhale allows the muscles of the abdominals to contract. So take an inhale, exhale, take the legs back. Nice work. Push up, lower to floor, pull through cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, head drops, tuck the toes, press up and back to down dog. When you get there, right foot shuffles a little closer to left. Inhale, reach the left leg, up and back behind us. As you exhale, take the left knee into chest. As you roll forward, left knee taps the back of the left arm. And then lower the knee down towards the left wrist without it touching the floor. Lift it up towards the left armpit as best you can. And then from here, land the left foot between the hands. Keep the back knee lifting, the back heel rising. Come on up, find your crescent lunge. Allow that left thigh to sit deeper. Allow the arms to climb over the head, pressing the palms together above you. Find stability as you hug the inner thighs towards each other. Find strength as you sit deeper in the left leg. But then allow that right knee to continue to lift as you sit deep into the power of your lunge. Take a breath in. Hold for the exhale. Circle hands down towards the mat. Left rib cage and thigh come towards each other. As you lean forwards, lift the back right leg. And take your left hand or arm to the back of your left calf or ankle. Allow the torso to get heavier and the ball of the right foot to continue to press back behind you. It's like you're trying to lift the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling as the chest got a little lower here. Take a breath. And as you start to bring the right knee in towards the chest, lift onto the fingertips, so climb up halfway. And then keep the right knee in towards the chest. As you bend the left knee, right leg extends out in front of you. We sit down on to the bottom. This is where we grab our trusty block. We lower down onto the back. Left leg's going to hover, so think about the shin being just parallel to the floor. Place the block on top of the left thigh, the left elbow on top of the block. Remember, they can just rest there, or you can push the two against one another. That choice is completely yours. Right leg hovers, right arm reaches forwards. Then from here, 10 times we lift and lower the right leg. It's 10. For 9, keep pressing block into thigh. 7. For 6. For 5, I think I missed one. Let's do another 5, shall we? Just another number 5, not 5 in total. For 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Lift and lower and grab hold of the block. It goes between the palms, outside the left thigh. We straighten the left leg. 10 times. On an exhale, we crunch up. Try to take the right elbow to the left knee. Exhale. 10. For 9, keep splitting the legs. 8. For 7. 6. For 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Release the block. Keep splitting the legs. Reach both arms forward. We pulse to lift the tailbone. 10. For 9. 8. Keep the feet engaged. 7. For 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Again, there's that moment where we contemplate and start to question all of our lives' choices up until now. Our choice to turn on this video, our choice to put ourselves through the momentary pain and suffering in the hopes to achieve a stronger, more stable body and mind in the process. Feet under the knee, roll the shoulder blades back as you lift the hips, maybe you interlace the hands behind the back. Take a few breaths here. Last inhale. As we lower ourselves back, we're going to roll back up towards that malasana shape. So arms extend back behind us. We take knees towards the armpits. So we compress, compress, compress. And we rock forwards, legs and arms. Same time. Get nice and small here. Take the triceps to the knees. Just let the back of the hands face down, the palms face up. And in a moment we have 3 opportunities to play with arm balances. First one is going to be a bent arm, a crow pose variation, where we have the knees resting on the back of the arms, elbows hugging in, knees hugging in, heels drawing the bottom. Second round is going to be that lolasana shape we practiced before with the arms straight leaning forwards. We're going to attempt to lift both of the feet this time. So what we're really trying to elicit is this idea of the ribs and the thighs getting super close towards each other, much like we have just here. And then the third round is going to be an opportunity to play with jumping from downward facing dog via lolasana and delivering the legs out in front of you. If that confuses you, great, we'll get to it later. Don't stress. So keep the ribs and the thighs nice and close. Lift the hips and then just sit the hips back in space. So as you bend the knees, the ribs and the thighs are going to be super close. And the knees can lock on nice and high on the back of the arms. Grip the mat with the fingertips, lean forwards. And then if you feel the feet lift, we're just going to hang out here. So you can press the heels and the inner ankles towards each other. Just look down off the top edge of your mat. Keep hugging elbows in, drawing the heels in and using those exhales to draw the ribs and the belly in. Be here for 10. For 9, really grip the fingers. 8, 4, 7, 6, 4, 5. Maybe play with getting a little unstable if you can for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the feet down. Come back towards your malasana. Roll that through the wrists a couple of times. Open and close the hands. Just feel a little bit of freedom there. Nice work. And drop the knees, untuck the toes. I'm going to play with lolasana. 2 options on the blocks is a little bit easier, I guess you could say, meaning that the feet don't need to lift as high. So you could do it with your hands on blocks, halfway between the hips and the knees, leaning forwards. And we really need to think about the legs in this position. Before, when we were pressing the feet down, that is what was lifting the knees in towards the chest. Now if we attempt to lift both feet, you need to do all of that lifting from the core, from the hip flexors and from the abdominals. So for today, if it's the first time practicing, I'm going to give you a little cheat code. And that cheat code is going to be, as we lean forwards, we bend the elbows. And then from there, you can, boom, take a push up, straighten through the arms to try and lift the legs. That's why we did the push-ups in our vinyasas before. But that might be more challenging for you. If you don't have the strength of the arms, you could just lean forwards and use the exhale to lift. I'm going to go for the more strength building option of taking the press up. You can choose your option. Biceps wrap forward. Inhale, we lean forwards. Exhale, we press up. Wherever you are, we're there for 10. For 9, squeeze the heels in. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, my goodness. Roll out through the wrists. Draw the shoulder blades back. Lift the chest. Nice work. So this idea of keeping the arms straight, of drawing knees to chest and squeezing heels to bum, it lends itself perfectly to the jump through. And if you haven't practiced the jump through before, the second height on the blocks is going to be the most friendly. It just gives you a little more height, but it can be slightly less stable. So you definitely wouldn't put it on the highest height. If you feel comfortable, you could do the blocks on the lowest height. Because we are traveling forwards and there will be a little pace involved, for a little bit of assistance as you work to lift the heels and bend knees and lift the feet, you could cross one ankle over the next and hug the knees in towards the chest. You want to trust the strength of your arms to stay straight until your legs move through the arms. You look forwards where you're going. You initiate the action by lifting the heels and bending the knees. That way the ribs and the thighs have already met. You take an inhale, and on the exhale you try to deliver the legs forwards. Slow it down if you can. Extend the legs and lower. Nice work. So the blocks off to the side. Fold forwards over the front of the thighs. The front body compression might not be much of an issue here because we spent a lot of time drawing the rib cage and the thighs towards each other. You might be able to drop the head a little heavier as you flex the toes back towards the face. Take a breath. Nice work. As you come up through a seat, I'm going to lower down onto the back. Take a block with us one last time. So we did this in our previous class, although we didn't have the block between the thighs this time, so there's a little more of a squeezing action here. Shins are parallel to the floor, arms out nice and wide, palms pressed down, take an in-breath. Exhale, take the knees off to the left, let them hover before they hit the earth. Press through the left arm more so the right shoulder blade still stays grounded. And then rise up through center. Inhale. Exhale, knees off to the right. Hover, hover, hover. Push through the right arm more so the left shoulder blade still stays grounded. And then rise up through center. Now here's the fun part. If you've got a cork block, be really mindful and really careful because cork blocks are heavy and you don't want to drop it. It's between the calves now. Calves are pressing towards each other. Feet are flexing and we need the hands and the arms a lot more here. So breathe in. Exhale, you take the feet over towards the left hand. Let them hover just before they hit the earth. Push through the left arm more so the right shoulder blade still stays grounded. Take an inhale. Let the exhale lift the legs back up through center. Inhale at the top. Exhale, feet over towards the right hand. They're hovering just before they hit the earth. Take an in-breath. Exhale, back up through center. One more time, inhale. Exhale to left. Slowly. Inhale. Exhale to right. Slowly. Nice one. Remove the block. Bend up the knees. One last time. We lift the hips. Roll the shoulder blades back. Inhale. Exhale is going to lower us down. I'm going to finish practice today. The soles of the feet together. The knees fall away from one another. Allowing muscles of the inner thighs, the front of the hips to get a little more relief. Feeling the breath slow down. Maybe feeling some sweat beading on the brow. Or maybe that's just me. And the body get a little heavier. Feeling the belly start to relax. Take a couple of breaths here. If Feet together and knees wide, not comfortable for you, simply extend the legs out long. Come towards Shavasana, whatever's going to give you more relief, and release. Bring intention and awareness back towards the belly. Just feel the energy shift around the midsection as you breathe. Be thankful you made the decision to practice today. Be proud of yourself for giving it your best efforts. And know we always have more to give next time as we continue our journey. There's expansion, there's evolution as we continue. From me to you, as always, with thanks. Peace.